My name is Arie and I restore antique furniture. Recently, a client asked me to restore an old table they discovered in a barn after buying and renovating a nearly 300-year-old farmhouse in the south of France.
The table had obviously been unloved for years and stored in an old barn on the premises. One of its legs is broken and two have old repairs. The finish of the table is ruined and the top has split. And then there's the damage woodworm caused. The table legs and stretchers are made of oak and the top is made of French walnut.
Although the table is broken and looks worn out, the client thought it would be a nice idea to have it restored and placed in their farmhouse kitchen, as a dedication to the previous owners of the house they so lovingly restored. And I can totally see this table restored in a farmhouse kitchen, paired with some simple white country chairs. The table loaded with fresh fruit, French cheeses, red wine, good company to share it with. I love it. Let's start restoring.
First, let's take apart the construction of the table. Then I remove the old nails, used as an old repair for the broken table leg. Now that the construction of the table is taken apart, I clean the surface of the wood with a damp cloth. The original finish has severely deteriorated because of damp conditions during storage. It comes off quite easily by scraping. Same goes for the stretcher. Part of the stretcher is damaged by old woodworm, and I'm going to take out the damaged part and replace it with a new piece of oak. I'm gluing the oak piece in place. After drying, I remove the clamps and plane the piece to the right size. Afterwards a little sanding, and let's leave this for a while and concentrate on the table legs. I'm using an oxalic acid solution on the oak parts of the table to remove old stains and discoloration. Look who's showing her snout. Bella wants some attention. And a little walk in the fields. Great to clear my head as well, since I'm going to start restoring the construction of the broken leg. These are the places where the leg is broken. And this is where I'm going to make a new construction. I'm going to use a wood router, so safety first. With the router, I'm removing parts of the broken oak to make room for a new construction with new pieces of oak. Where I remove the broken wood, I'm going to glue in the new oak pieces. A little piece of wood in the construction is still missing, so I cut a piece of oak to size and hammer it in with some glue. After removing the clamps, I plane the new oak pieces to the right size. I'm using the jigsaw to make the curves of the outline of the legs. And I'm sanding to define the shape. Then I'm adjusting the piece I glued in the leg so the construction will fit. And it does fit. Next up are the restorations on the leg. The grain of the wood is completely opposite and there is old woodworm damage. Let's make new ones. I've saved some old oak boards I can use. The new restoration is going to be a little bit bigger than the old one, to take off the woodworm damage part as well. The old restoration was nailed onto the wood, so I have to remove the nails before sawing off the damaged part of the wood. I don't want to ruin my Japanese saw. For cutting out the new part of the leg, I use my jigsaw. I'm defining the final shape with my smaller Japanese saw. I'm gluing the two pieces together for the right width and clamp them. To attach the leg and the new restoration, I use a wooden dowel. I don't know exactly what it's called in English, but this middle thingy transfers the hole for the dowel very precisely to the piece you want to attach. I love it. I glued the dowel in place and clamped the two pieces of wood together. After the glue has set and I remove the clamps, I can sand and plane the wood so it's a perfect fit. I especially love the fact that the wood grain of the leg now continues all the way down. Meanwhile, Bella has decided to play around with the sweeper. But enough of that, Bella. I need the sweeper to collect the sanding dust I just produced. Mixing it together with the glue will make a traditional wood filler. And I'm using it on the woodworm holes on other parts of the table. After drying, I will be able to sand it. But first, let's concentrate on the biggest challenge in this restoration, the crack in the tabletop. I'm planning to use the router to cut the cracked tabletop all the way through and plane the two wood parts of the tabletop and glue them back together. I attach a wooden rail along the tabletop to guide my router. It takes several runs, but in the end I'm all the way through the wood in a straight line, and I can plane the two halves of the tabletop. Now let's see how the two halves fit together. I'm using a piece of paper and guide it through the seam. I make my markings there where the piece of paper gets stuck. That's where I have to remove some more wood. I'm using my carpenter's square to make sure I'm keeping a straight surface. Happy with that. To connect the two halves of the tabletop, I'm using wooden dowels. I drill the holes for the dowels in the first half of the tabletop. I insert the metal thingy I don't know the name of, so I'm going to call it a dowel marker. I place the other half of the tabletop on the first half in the right position and press it down on the dowel marker. After removing this piece of wood, there's a precise marking of where to drill the hole for the dowel. Easy peasy. I'm gluing in the dowels. I'm gluing the two halves of the tabletop and clamping them together. The seam closes nicely. I'm wiping off the excess glue with a damp cloth. While the tabletop is drying, let's concentrate on the corners of the top that are damaged by woodworm. I could add a new 45-degree corner made of walnut, but I happen to like the rustic rounded corner. I'm using sawdust and glue again to make a traditional wood filler to fill up the damaged areas. Once the filler has dried, I can sand it. The holes have been filled and the damaged area has been strengthened. Now let's get back to the tabletop. The glue is set and the clamps have been removed. On close inspection, the glued seam needs a little more additional planing and sanding. The sanding also removes the last traces of the damaged finish and the bleached out color of the wood. Time to stain the walnut a uniform color. After the stain has dried, I give the top a transparent coat that is water and UV light resistant. It really brings out the wood grain of this French walnut top. I love the protective qualities of the varnish in a farmhouse setting, but the high gloss is too plastic for my taste. So I lightly sand the varnish to dull its gloss and put on a coat of wax. It looks much more natural already. After the wax is dried, I buff it up to a good shine. Waxing a piece of furniture is 20% wax and 80% elbow grease. So let's get to it. Now the tabletop has its final color. It's time for the frame of the table. I'm dyeing it a walnut color to match the top. After the dye has dried, I'm brushing on a coat of varnish with a medium gloss this time. Now that all the components of our farmhouse table are finished, I'm putting the frame and the table together again. Almost finished. Now that the table parts are put together again, I still need to make wooden pens to connect the top to the base of the table. In my collection I found some cute knobs I can use. I'm drilling holes in the knobs to glue in the wooden pens. Through the holes, the pens lock the tabletop onto the frame. And now for the final result. Remember what it looked like before? This is what it looks like after restoration.